Let me ask you this. Do you still think that the military training that you see in the movies is the same in reality? Well, in fact, the answer is no. It's quite harder than you think. And guess what? In today's episode, we're going to show you the top 10 craziest military training exercises in the world. And let's see if this is going to blow your mind. These military drills are some of the most ridiculous things you will ever witness, from drinking cobra blood to passing live explosives and nearly freezing to death. These are meant to push one's limitations and explore one's potential, crossing the border between life and death. We'll never know if it's extremely necessary to force someone into these circumstances or if it's done to frighten enemy countries. Anyways, let's find out. Number 10. People's Liberation Army of China. It is one of the People's Liberation Army's most critical and pressing topics of the day. It's important if China is to defend itself and maintain regional peace in an era of changing international relations. According to them, the Chinese military urgently needs to produce leaders capable of conducting joint operations across the various divisions of the armed forces. Previously, each branch trained personnel individually, but the military is now attempting to develop cross-service collaboration in order to increase combat strength. Have you heard of the hot potato training? The PLAC pulls the pin on the grenade, which causes it to go off. In no time, a gang of troops begins passing the live grenade before the last one tosses it into a nearby hole. The game does not stop here. To rescue themselves after launching the grenade, they must leap and shield their heads. It's regarded as a training exercise to impart discipline, accuracy, and the ability to handle live weapons. But aren't there any other options? That's too hard, right? Number 9. The Belarus Army. What if you were made for walking over a tightrope, which lies over burning logs? Belarus is a landlocked country in Eastern Europe that is also known as Europe's last dictatorship. I suppose the image you have in your head makes this easier to believe. Walking the tightrope over flaming logs is one of their training exercises. It would have been a simpler task if it hadn't been for the gunfire being shot from below at their feet, right? Just kidding, alright? Not only that, but imagine putting bricks on fire, then being told to give them a header and break through them. It sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? However, that is a reality for Belarusian troops. These are only a handful of the numerous lethal exercises that Belarusian troops are subjected to. All of this is done only to earn the ministry's coveted Red Beret designation. Wish for one? Number 8. The U.S. Navy SEAL. This exercise is a mandatory course in the U.S. Navy. They're required to lie down and connect their arms while burying their heads in the brutal ice-cold water of the ocean for 8 minutes at a time, and then ordered to run and rub their bodies in the sand dunes just to be ready for the next round. They are forced to scream at the top of their lungs as the waves smash over them. Aside from that, there's downproofing. It's all about drowning, alright? The troops float in an almost vertical stance, their lungs completely expanded. They use their hands and legs to exert downward pressure, keeping their lips above the water surface to inhale deeply before returning to a calm float. The procedure is performed 5 to 10 times. This is still quite straightforward. Number 7. U.S. Marines. Love some cobra blood? For 11 days, U.S. Marines in Thailand's jungles receive survival training. While knowing how to live in the wilderness is a wonderful thing, the survival skills they discover will undoubtedly stun you. The troops drink cobra blood, eat scorpions, and even use their fangs to decapitate poultry. What's more startling is that these atrocities are a reality. Number 6. The Taiwan Marines. The Road to Heaven is the final step of the amphibious training program's 9-week training program in Zhujiang, southern Taiwan. Now you might be thinking, what's so special about it, right? Well, the reality is that the journey to their heaven is painfully cruel. In addition to the various intense exercises, the troops are forced to crawl through a 50-meter-long trail littered with jagged-edged rocks and corals. While the troops may appear to be tormented, the ultimate goal of such grueling training sessions is to develop a class of superheroes who, despite being attacked in the most severe of ways, have the strength to bring down the offenders, and that takes some guts. Number 5. Russian Army. How resistant should you be to pain? Some? A bit more? What do you think? Well, one thing is certain, the Russian army thinks it's different. The Spetsnaz pain management training compromises crushing a hot concrete slab in two on a recruit's stomach with a sledgehammer, being struck in the stomach by the commanding officer, and not being permitted to react. It certainly leaves no space for more suffering. How about a shot to the chest now? This practice is a crucial component of Russian specialist confidence training. The goal is to train soldiers to respond rapidly, even if they are fired on the battlefield. Some of them are hurt during training, while others take the bullet in their vest. Regardless of how they interpret it, the goal is to open counterfire quickly while being injured. Number 4. British RAF. This has to be the most depressing training of all. Recruits are transported to a tear gas chamber in full gear and instructed to remove it once inside. The quick exposure to tear gas has a greater impact than it would normally have. They are instructed to yell their names and numbers loudly and clearly when out of breath. Number 3. South Korean Army. I believe South Korea enjoys the notion of the Cold War a little too much. Over 200 troops from South Korea's top special forces travel to Pyeongchang's ice-covered area, where the temperature drops to a chilling -30 degrees Celsius. And it is here that they show off their aggressive side a little too much. They run a marathon, wrestle, and perform gymnastics. They also toss snowballs at each other, as if that wasn't enough. Because, dumping snow on an already cold body in a freezing atmosphere is always entertaining. South Korean soldiers aren't the only ones bracing for the elements in the snow. China does it as well. They too go berserk in sub-zero temperatures near the Russian border, but less forcefully than South Koreans. They crawl through the snow half naked, carrying their swords. Number 2. Philippine Navy SEAL. During the last week of Navy SEAL training, they are forced to sleep for a full week and are only granted 1 hour of rest every day. They train vigorously, do target shooting, run 6 miles, and swim 18 kilometers while struggling to keep their eyes open. What pushes it to the next level is that troops are forced to remain drunken while executing these activities. Finally, we have number 1, the Taliban. I guess we shouldn't have included it in today's episode. Anyways, let's take a look. I can pick which item on the list is the worst. I don't want to be harsh in this case though, so here they are, the infamous Taliban suicide bombers. They are lured in with promises of a glorious and lovely hereafter, and are taught to handle explosives accurately and put through demanding mental and physical workouts to be fearless. And I know what comes later. Anyways, what do you guys think about these 10 intense military exercises? Cool or not cool? Anyways, I gotta say this, military life is thought to be the most difficult and peaceful when contrasted to civilian life. As a result, many governments throughout the world subject their service officers to the most rigorous training and exercises in order to maintain tight environments. And not many can take it. So, when coming to the end of today's episode, do mention your views in the comments section below. Anyways, we'll meet again in the next episode. Until then, bye!